Okay, hello everyone. So nice to see so many familiar faces and many new faces also. My name is Mari-Sanna Paukkeri. I'm CEO of Utopia Analytics. I do have technical background, but here now I'm talking more from the business point of view. And the basic idea in business is that they usually don't know anything about analytics. And all of the data scientists here, I see many of you, we need to train those business people how to use analytics and what are the basic things. First, some words about our company. It is a startup from 2014. We have about a bit more than 10 people working for us currently. Pretty many data scientists working there, and also there are people who do have linguist training. We do artificial intelligence, all kinds of it, but we have been concentrating on text mining, and the only reason why we do that is that we are extremely good in it. So we need to do what we know best. Our background is in Aalto University, as many of you do have, and all the algorithm background from there. Basic ideas of Utopia is that we use big data, machine learning, artificial intelligence. We also understand how language behaves when we do text mining products. We use both structured and unstructured data, which can be in any language or in any dialect in the world. And our algorithms are especially good in social media data because it is not traditional language or book language. It is something what people just create. Our tools are always for end users. We are very keen in understanding how the customers of ours want to use our products, and we build all of our tools to them, taking care of them. We don't use manually created rules or that kind of different kind of ontologies or dictionaries or background information, but we learn from the data. And we do have business understanding. What can be done with analytics to help your business? This is just a picture about how we think, how we usually see analytics or big data or that kind of tools implemented or products implemented, the traditional approach on top. We don't want to do things in that way. We want to do analytics in a way that all the data, all the information is first taken into account, and that is used as the base of the product. One of our tools, which has been launched in late spring this year, is moderator tool, which is able to moderate website comments automatically. This is the first tool in the world of this kind. So basically the idea on website discussions is that there are that kind of ugly comments on red color here, and there are humans who read through all the comments on website discussions and take those comments out, which are not proper comments for that discussion forum. Our tool automates this kind of work, and it actually works much better than how human moderators are able to perform. And we are, of course, very happy about this. Okay, then to the real topic about this talk. Analytics without correct data produce nothing. And as background, I want to say that I use these words as synonyms, even though they are not. But in different cases, they are sort of the same thing. So analytics, big data algorithms, machine learning, data mining, artificial intelligence. Whatever I say out of these, it is sort of the same thing from business point of view. So how I see analytics in the Finnish organizations. Basically, it is used very little, as you all know. Sometimes in marketing department, there are startups doing analytics things, but in the big corporations, analytics is something that is not used as it should be. Even though analytics is the only way to understand big amounts of data or find clusters, patterns, similarities in the organization's customers or products or internal processes. And analytics is the only way to take millions of details into account at the same time. Even though there is willingness to use analytics in a company or in a governmental organization, the real life is much more complicated than just take it. Usually the idea is that let's start using analytics, so let's buy a tool that should make it. But basically, and this comes as a surprise to almost every company, that even though you have bought a very expensive analytics tool, you still need skilled data scientists, and you still need much better quality data than what you have already in your company. The problem of Finnish companies basically is that the data isn't as it should be in order to be able to use analytics. And now we have these three things what are needed for proper use of analytics. If one of these are missing, then you have nothing. You have wasted your money for nothing. About the tools, I think personally that the tools available currently for big companies, smaller companies also, are good. They are good tools for the needs what the companies currently have. They are Finnish and international developers. There are huge systems that combine analytics with data management, with customer relationship management, or other kinds of things from the big international companies. There are smaller tools for specific tasks. They are open source algorithms. There are also recent research where you can take new ideas from. And these tools are developing all the time. So basically, the tool part is not the problem of a company to take analytics into use. First problem which comes is that skilled data scientists are needed. In Finland, we have a very high quality of data scientists. Especially doctors from Aalto, they have been very good in many ways, but the number of data scientists who really know what they are doing is tiny. So basically, education is needed much more than what is done up to today. So basically, this kind of person who should be the professional of analyzing data should understand mathematics, the backgrounds of the algorithms. Also, the person should be able to choose the correct algorithm for the problem. If you use wrong algorithm, you have nothing. The biggest problem in the education is that the real-world situations are not covered at all. So basically, when you are trained to be a data scientist, you should learn from the real-life problems, real company data, real situations. It is so far from the research algorithm high tuning. Usually you don't have the data, and usually, even though if you have data, it will break down tomorrow or that kind of situations. You need to take care much more than what you learn from school. And another thing which is not covered in the current education is that how to explain these technical, very difficult technical things to business people who have no technical training at all. How to do this kind of communication, how to make this communication work better. This is something which is really missing, and I actually don't have an answer how to train this kind of things, but this is very important thing to have. Okay, then the third item, the data. Data tells an organization, whether it is a company or government organization, who are our customers, how do we perform on financial point of view or other points of view, what are the characteristics of our products or services, what we do, how our employees work, perform, how is it going. And the data could be the most valuable possession of an organization. Not perhaps the employees or the products, but the data, how we perform. And this seems to be very difficult to do. And in Finland, I've seen many companies how they do this thing. And in my opinion, handling organizations' data for analytics use does not exist at all in the big companies in Finland. And it is very sad, because if you have wrong data, you make wrong decisions, and then your company doesn't go as it should be, even though you could, because you have the data to make right decisions. This affects ICT projects in big companies and organizations. I suggest that the largest cost reductions in ICT budgets within few years' time could be found if analytics viewpoint was taken into account to every single ICT project in every company or organization. Because the situation now is that we have heard about analytics, but we don't have money to take care of it now. We just run our current ICT projects. We don't take care about the fact that perhaps we would like to use analytics for our new sales system in order to make the sales behaving better. But after 1 or 2 years, everyone will think that analytics is something that you need to apply. And then you have to run this IT project again. And it is actually double of the money. About the data. Every people who have been doing this kind of stuff in a big organization know this, but I want to make it very clear. Usually the data is collected from one part or here and there from the organization. And if you try to combine this kind of data, it can't be used for analytics. Because as you know, the distributions don't go as they should be, and the models don't learn what they are supposed to learn. So the data should cover all functions of an organization. The data should be collected from an enough long period of time. So if you start collecting today, you can't use it for analytics next week. You need some history, and you need to understand this when you plan the IT projects. Also, and this is one of the most important things in data, the data has to be modeled for analytics purposes already in the source systems. Or it means, for example, the system where the customer information is collected in, or the sales information, what you have sold to your customers is collected. If that data is collected in a wrong way, it is very difficult to transform that data into something that is usable for analytics. The reason is that something is missing and something else is duplicated and so on. You can't put it together into an analytics table, what you use when you apply the algorithms. This Utopia Simple Data Model defines what kind of things should be taken care of when analytics is wanted to use in a company. There are some details here. So the target or the goal of these ideas is to have coherent data and high data quality. These both things are very important, that you can have any results from analytics. So basically, the tools or user interfaces and databases should be separate. This is not the thing usually. So basically, big companies sell products which contain the database also, and you can't export data out. So then, if you want to apply analytics on top of it, you can't do it because you don't have the data. Weird, but it happens in every company. Another idea is that you need to have as few databases as possible. I know everyone know that this is how it should be, but this is not how the current situation is. Usually there are 100 or 200 different databases, every database having different kind of data. And when you try to collect them together in order to start analytics, it is 2, 3, 4 years project before you can do anything. Also, the integrations between the databases should be as simple as possible, and there should be as few integrations as possible. Usually, data architects build the integrations in a way that if I'm sending this data from this source system to the reporting system, I'm building this kind of interface because they need only those few items of data. And if this data is going to the marketing department, I send something else there. And they build different interfaces to all target systems which would like to use the data. And the end result is that every target system has, for example, different number of customers or different number of products sold in their reports. And that is something which is just data quality problem. And if we have this kind of data quality problems, we can't do proper analytics, or at least the results are wrong. All data in a big company should be in one data model. Usually, every database has their own data model, and when you send data back and forth between the databases, there are errors coming in every integration between the databases. So the same data model should be used in order to have the data quality high. Also, there is a weird idea everywhere that we have to save the memory, or we have to save the size of the data, even though in my understanding, the memory isn't very expensive anymore. It is much more expensive to pay the salary for the maintenance people who fix the problems in the data. So the idea when building a new IT system should be to have as high quality data as possible, because then you save money. The data in the source systems should be modeled in the few entities. Usually, I see that kind of systems where you have 100 different tables explaining different characteristics of the company's products or customers. But this kind of data is very difficult to understand, and because of the earlier things that I already explained, it is not the way how to have high quality data. And in order to do in this way that you have only few entities of data, not 100, but for example 4 or 5, then the data is in a model which is possible to save money. So we had the target to have data coherence and high data quality for analytics use. And when using that kind of basic ideas, your result is that you have decreased ICT project and maintenance costs, plus you have added analytics to your processes. One of the results also is that the data implemented for analytics use can be used, of course, now in this system where it has been built. But also, in the future, you can use the same data. You don't need to do the modifications which you currently almost all the time need to do when you create new ideas, what kind of products or product details we should have. Also, if you think about analytics in the first place when having a new IT project, the one result is that you can right away can use the same data for reporting. Currently, usually the source systems are built in a way that you have the source system which is able to do the sales or marketing or whatever you did in the beginning. And then when you start to want to report what your company is doing, you need to build a new data model, a new everything. But if you think about analytics in the beginning, you have the reporting data already because you can use the same. And of course, you can use analytics. Data quality keeps higher. If you take care of those basic things, that you have few databases, you have few integrations, you have one unified data models, and so on, your data quality is so high that you are able to use analytics. Also, you have smaller data fixing costs because it is easier to understand what you have modeled in your database. So, if we had all of these three things, I suggest that most of the public finance sustainability in Finland, almost 10 billion euro, could be covered by taking analytics and artificial intelligence in the use, plus taking care of the data. The saved money would come from making right decisions based on data and not like hand-waving as the decisions are made currently in almost all organizations. And then your costs of ICT projects and maintenance will be decreased. And of course, small person living in Finland would get better products, better services, and also government would use less money by using this kind of methods to decrease their money usage. And then I want to say one small tiny things about big data and big unstructured data. Everywhere in the IT departments of big companies, it is something which is now everyone is talking about it. Companies are building data lakes and that kind of unstructured databases. But the basic idea with this kind of data lakes and unstructured data is that you are just transferring the time when you do the structuring on the data, because analytics can't be done on top of that as the basic rule. You need to do some structure on top of the data. Okay, any questions?
Can I please have the questions on the mic?
Hi. You said earlier that every piece of software comes with its own database and that it would be nice to have fewer databases. In practice, in a larger organization, all of these products come from different suppliers. How do you plan to convince, for example, HP and Microsoft and SAS to not do this and give you some kind of way of representing the data that can be unified so that you don't need to build these integrations between them?
Well, the company who buys the product, they can, of course, choose what to buy. There are many other ways available than what the big companies give. So basically, I don't see any problem in it. You just need to know what you demand from the big companies. They are offering many things what are not good for you, but well, any representatives. Basically, it is the idea of a big company how the business works. But usually, if you are able to separate the data from the user interfaces, that is the way which lasts a long time.
Hey, thanks for a good real-life presentation. So just one or two questions. So who are your customers and how much is your turnover?
This was somehow related to the presentation. Our customers are basically the biggest companies in Finland. And currently when we are working, concentrating most of the Utopia moderator tool, they are in media side in Finland and also in Baltics and Nordics. And our turnover, you will hear about it in the end of this year when it has been calculated.
Hi. I have a comment regarding the education aspect. So I come from the university side and we are of course working towards that. So we are, for example, at University of Helsinki just starting a new data science master's program next year.
Good.
The one thing is I completely agree that we need to move towards more practical real world problems, real world data. And I think I have the answer that you said that you don't have. And the answer is you. So of course what we need is that we need the companies that actually have the data, that have the problems, to be able to give us, I mean in some sort of cooperative fashion, things that the students are allowed to work on. I mean I think so. If you think you could have such data sets or problems that you would want our students to work on, just contact me and we can see what we can arrange. So at some point at least we will be working towards some practical project style courses that they would be solving real problems.
That is very good news. I didn't know about that program before. I really intend to hire many data scientists in the future, so this kind of thing would be very good. So let's talk about it.
Thank you for the excellent presentation. Two things, but maybe the important thing here, considering the business, is that I think that towards the end, when you were discussing the data, I think the customers should be educated because they really can't buy nowadays within this new analytical situation. So I think you were kind of pointing out the essential situation, but we see these Apottis and others which are really catastrophic kind of projects. A lot of money is being used, wasted to a large extent, as I see it, and I think you pointed to the same direction. So do you have any ideas how to kind of make the customers and potential customers to understand the kind of new situation and how they should address them and how to write the kind of the proposal, how to kind of get the right companies to serve them? And then the other thing, if you have some kind of information on how to kind of learn to know more about the moderator tool, because you kind of boldly told about the excellent quality of the tool, so it would be interesting to hear a little bit more.
How to train the customers will be difficult because, as we all know, analytics is not easy thing. It needs very complicated brain in order to understand what's going on and very skilled people in order to do it. And to train the current decision makers in the big company, I think it isn't possible. But analytics or some details of it could be trained in every high school or university as one class, as some kind of computer skills are currently taught. So this is something what can be done, but it is very long term. The results come much later. About the moderator tool, I'm very happy to talk about it much more, but I suppose I don't have time now. But yes, it uses machine learning. It follows every customer's own moderation policy in order that they have their own rules, how they moderate their conversations, and we train that data to our moderator. And our tool is located on our own servers, so it is a SaaS tool. And well, it is really nice to work with it because it is one of the things that I've been studying at school and in the university and writing my PhD on algorithms and things. And now, finally, I'm in a situation that people in the real world can benefit from something what me and our team are doing. So it is something we are really happy about.